I was so excited for this quest that I sat on the floor near my charger just so I could finish it without my phone dying. Yeah, I'm a mobile player coping for a Switch release, let me be. I was incredibly happy to revisit the Mondstadt cast and see my favorite character, but once it was over, I sat there unimpressed. More importantly, there's a glaring flaw that the community has been warning Hoyoverse about that finally reared its ugly head in Paralogism. This is your spoiler warning for the rest of the video. Paralogism begins with the Windbloom Festival, but you're quickly swept away to witness Albedo's trial. Right away, the characters are torn that their beloved alchemist would try to get away with murder. If you've been a longtime player, you likely already clued in to how predictable this trial would end up being. Because old players know that Albedo has an imposter, but you would only know that if you played the limited time event in 2.3 Shadows and Mist Snowstorms. This was in late November of 2021, 4 years ago. This is a huge issue because a limited time event became main story relevant. I understand that live service games are going to have gaps sometimes with their storytelling, but to timegate something so important so that new players can't even go back and play it is absurd. We've been warning Hoyoverse by putting lore-heavy information in optional liminal events that players will have a hard time following the story. What's worse is that this happened not once but twice. Later in the story quest, you'll learn about the Knights of Favonius' plan to reveal the imposters and deal with Durin's lingering influence. However, Albedo confides in you that he wants to do something extraordinary. He wants to turn Mini Durin into a human. Who the hell is Mini Durin? You only know this if you played the limited time Simulanka event that was released in 4.8. This update was released mid-July of 2024 for the annual summer event. Though this limited event wasn't as long ago, it is still crazy that this flying little dragon popped up as a major plot point in Paralogism. If you didn't play or go back to watch the story beats of these two events, you'd be completely lost in this 5.6 Archon quest. Now, thankfully the developers put in a quick story summary for Shadows and Mist Snowstorms event to refresh us or tell you what happened, but they didn't extend the same courtesy for Mini Durin. This quest was the culmination of Hoyoverse's past actions coming to bite them in the ass. As a result, the players are met with a disjointed quest that requires you to remember an event from 4 years ago. Granted, Shadows and Mist Snowstorms was pretty good and memorable, which works in its favor, but that's still 4 years of new players who didn't get to experience important story lore. Once again, I urge Hoyoverse to please make limited events permanently available. If they want to drop the limited rewards, fine, but don't punish players for missing out. Allow them the chance to play Shadows and Mist Snowstorms, Simulanka, and then let them truly explore Paralogism. For someone like myself who has been there for both of these events, I was able to really enjoy the callbacks and how the plot developed from these two quests. Though I do think Alice's trial was pretty underwhelming and felt like it was only included as a fight so that there could be a new weekly boss. Perhaps my expectations of her mysterious character were just different considering that she planned a whole summer event at the Golden Apple Archipelago for Klee and her friends. Oh wait, that's right. The first time we even hear Alice is from a limited event from 1.6. Considering the lengths she went to help create Simulanka, the Summer Islands, and probably more in the future, I find it hard to believe that a magical chessboard was all she needed to grant Albedo precious rare materials to fuse dragons and give them a human form. Just me? Am I being too harsh? This is what turned what could have been a fantastic Archon interlude quest into just an okay one. If you know all this lore, you probably enjoyed it a lot. If you didn't, you either got walls of text catching you up, or you were just lost. Let me know if these assessments of mine are accurate or not. My expectations were higher because we were going back to Mondstadt. I'll admit these same expectations were lowered as the Natlan Archon quests failed to deliver for me personally. I neglected to realize that the writing changes with time, and even if they did revisit a loved region for me that had a decent story, their current writing style can mess it up going forward. For the longest time, I wanted to get Venti's second story quest, but after seeing how they handled Paralogism, I don't know if I want that anymore. His first one was so good, and I would hate for all that character buildup to be torn down. That's my mini rant about the latest Archon quest. It's not bad, but it requires you to play catch up to enjoy it to the fullest. Hoyoverse, if this happens to reach you, please make all your lore important events permanent, or stop shoving lore important material into these event quests. If you want to explore a certain character in the cast, go for it. But if that exploration is going to result in importance in the main story, save it for the main story. Anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm most curious to know if you played 2.3 and 4.8, and if yes, how did the quest go? If not, were you lost? Did you do okay? I'd love to know, as I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this one. Until next time.